Thank you, Doug. Tonight's meeting is bittersweet for me as I step down as the president of the Federation. People have asked me, how do you feel about reaching the end of your term as president? Relieved, burned out, had enough? And my response has always been a definitive no. I have loved every minute of it. Being Federation president has been the most challenging and the most rewarding volunteer experience I have ever undertaken. 3 years ago, when I became Federation president, I could never have envisioned what would happen to our community during my term of office. In September of 2007, we were experiencing a fairly stable economy and the future seemed bright. Then in 2008, the world as we knew it began to change. The recession hit and we are still reeling from its widespread effects. Metropolitan Detroit, the center of the automotive industry, has struggled more than almost any other part of the country, and for longer. However, despite our economic and demographic problems, I am so proud that our community has remained strong as we pull together to confront many complex issues. Let me share some of last year's highlights. Unlike presidents before me, I cannot report that our annual campaign has been growing every year. And unfortunately, as the dollars decrease, the needs significantly increase. We are projecting a 2010 annual campaign achievement of $29 million, although we hope to do better. And the Jennifer and Dan Gilbert Urgent Needs Challenge Fund is projected at $4.46 million. Although this is a remarkable campaign achievement, it is a $2.6 million decrease from 2009 and a $5 million decrease from 2008. But there is some good news. Our campaign achievement to date includes 1,450 new gifts, which is a positive sign for the future. Also, for the very first time, our 4 Orthodox day school presidents brought together over 500 members of the Orthodox community at the home of Mulkey and Gary Torgo to demonstrate community solidarity and to raise money for the annual campaign. Local needs have continued to be our primary focus. The Federation, its agencies, and other Jewish organizations have strengthened their coordinated efforts to assist those in need. The Jewish Assistance Project provides a single phone number and website to access assistance for all urgent needs services. Also, families can now access financial aid for Jewish day schools, camps, daycare, and Israel experiences with one application. We are grateful for the Jewish Fund's second grant in excess of $655,000 to assist our agencies in addressing urgent needs, and to the Jewish Women's Foundation for funding select agency programs. In keeping with our efforts to streamline operations and services, we launched the Community Collaborations Initiative, an idea that came out of the 2020 Visioning Task Force. We are exploring potential synergies and centralizing select services between the Federation and our agencies. All of our efforts are designed to streamline operations, improve services, and reduce costs while preserving important programs and services. Last year, we saw the creation of Jewish Senior Life, a merger of the Jewish Home and Aging Services and Jewish Apartments and Services. JSL recently hired its first CEO. Despite lower campaign achievements over the last 2 years, additional allocations were approved each year to allow our older adults to age in place. The Jewish Fund has been extremely supportive in allocating multiple year grants for important services for our seniors. Our pillar campaign, the Foundation for Our Jewish Elderly, continues to be a high priority. We also continue to emphasize Jewish education to ensure our Jewish future. For example, our Alliance for Jewish Education works to strengthen our agency and congregational schools. Through the Alliance, we completed the second year of our Congregational School Initiative, which involved assessments and action plans for 12 schools. In addition, a new Jewish civics curriculum was piloted in the middle schools. Our second pillar campaign, the Foundation for Jewish Education, also remains a top priority. At the same time that we are addressing today's crises, we continue to focus on programming that will attract, retain, and engage young talent. I am so impressed by the incredible commitment, passion, and dedication of the young adult leadership in our community. They are thoughtful, creative, entrepreneurial, and dedicated. Our Young Adult Division offers exciting programs which have attracted hundreds of new participants over the years. A new program is Yad's Becker All-Stars, a leadership program with an Israel component. Community Next was launched last year, creating professional, social, and educational opportunities for young adults. Also, two new community birthright missions to Israel were added. Our younger generations are increasingly serving as officers, as chairs and members of important committees of the Federation and the Foundation. Support for Israel remains integral to our mission. We will never forget our year-long celebration of Israel at 60, which culminated with a fun-filled family mission to Israel. This past year, we had 14 missions and exchanges, in which more than 600 people traveled to and from Israel. Our relationship with Israelis in the Central Galilee, our Partnership 2000 region, is a model for the entire country. They are partners in the fullest sense, generating $600,000 for shared projects and recruiting hundreds of volunteers. I would be remiss if I did not mention that the challenges we have faced internally with the Federation are something I would like to share with you. Over the past few years, we have had significant layoffs. This past year, we were also forced to implement salary reductions. Needless to say, several of our agencies have experienced similar difficulties and have had to make similar adjustments. I'm extremely proud of our dedicated Federation and agency staff who continue to do more with less. I am keenly aware that it takes dedicated leaders, both volunteers and professionals, to be successful. First, I want to thank Doug Etkin. It has been a real pleasure to get to know and work with him this past year. Doug knows how to listen, he is a good thinker, and is committed to the community. I also want to thank Norm Pappas, Doug's predecessor, with whom I spent 2 years. One of the many things that I value about Norm is his positive and creative approach in addressing sensitive issues. Next, I want to thank Scott Kaufman, our CEO. He brings energy and enthusiasm to whatever he undertakes. He keeps us open to new ideas and recognizes the importance of Federation remaining relevant to future generations. I also want to extend a special thank you to Bob Aronson, from whom I have learned so much. I have great respect for his vision, creativity, fundraising abilities, and devotion to the Jewish people. And to our executive management team, Dorothy Benyas, Andrew Eck, and my always go-to person, Howard Nystein, I'm grateful for their assistance and valuable expertise. They are always there to offer their help. They are the ones who quietly and behind the scenes get the job done. Many thanks also to all of our extremely dedicated and capable staff. I wish I could mention all of you by name. And last, I want to wish Michael Horwitz much success. I know that his years of Federation experience, his analytic skills, his attention to details, and his ability to problem solve will serve the Federation well. My remarks would not be complete with a big thank you to my family for putting up with me, or should I say without me, during my years as president. To my husband, Jimmy, I want to say thank you for your continued support, understanding, and patience most of the time. I love you and want you to know how fortunate I am to have you in my life. I look forward to spending more time together, and I don't mean watching the Yankees. To my children, Rachel and Mark, who live in Birmingham, and Jason and Jenna, who live in LA, and to our 6 adorable grandchildren, I want you to know how much I love you and how fortunate I am to have such a wonderful family. And to my dear mother, Sylvia Babcock, who just turned 97 and is unable to be here this evening, I want to say thank you for being my biggest fan and #1 cheerleader from the moment I took my first breath. When I said 3 years ago, being Jewish is an important part of who I am, and I treasure the traditions, values, and commitment to community that it encompasses, I didn't realize how through my work with the Federation, my love for Judaism would deepen, and my understanding and appreciation of people from all streams of our diverse Jewish world would heighten. And if I have learned anything in the past 3 years, it is that our volunteers are the backbone of the Federation and our agencies. They are the ones who ultimately make the difference between just any community and our Detroit Jewish community. I thank you all for your generosity and willingness to get involved and make a difference. It has been my honor to serve as president of this incredible federation. I thank you, and Shana Tova. Thank you. Thank you.